Well, here we are. It is Saturday after the NFL Combine. John Lynch, Adam Peters have agreed in principle to send Deebo Samuel to the Washington Commanders for a fifth round pick. What an era that Deebo Samuel had with the 49ers. It has been fun to watch. He has been so impressive with what he's been able to do. A little rocky at the end of his tenure with the 49ers, but ultimately, I mean, he really defined what the 49ers have been since he was drafted by the team in 2019. Uh, Deebo Samuel, has been so much fun to cover. I know we've had kind of ups and downs with him, and he has been fantastic. And then he has been, somewhat prickly in the locker room. But one thing is for sure, he is one of the most physical wide receivers we've seen. He defines this Shanahan and Lynch era where they went to four NFC championship games and two appearances in the Super Bowl. He, while being maybe not as productive on the field in 2024, was a huge role model for Ricky Pearsall in his rookie year. Just Deebo Samuel has been, you know, divisive amongst the fans. I don't necessarily know why people have been, maybe because the production has not been as much as it has been in the past, but he really has been a guy who has given everything he could to the 49ers over the last 6 years. Um, he only had one all-pro Pro Bowl year, and that was that 2021 season, 1,400 yards receiving, uh, 365 yards rushing, Pro Bowl, first team All-Pro. I mean, he's a guy that made defenders make business decisions. He's a guy that, he wasn't going to run or be tackled by you. He was going to run over you. Um, it's been a tough couple years. He hasn't had the production that we've seen from him in the past. I mean, since that 1,400 yard season, 632 yards in 2022, 892 yards in 23, 670 yards last year. And, when Brandon Ayuk went down with an ACL injury, you thought Deebo Samuel, Juwan Jennings were going to take over and they were going to be the top guys along with Ricky Pearsall. And it just didn't happen. It was Juwan Jennings as wide receiver one. He really took over nearly 1,000 yards. But what Deebo has done is just such a huge contribution to the identity of the 49ers. Um, I think he's set up in the perfect situation because not only is it a guy who knows him and Adam Peters knows how to, make sure that he stays on his nutrition and his fitness uh, to be a better player than he has been in maybe the last year or two. I mean, I do think that Deebo Samuel came into training camp this past year ready to go, in shape. I think it was when he got the pneumonia and was in the hospital. Um, Never really looked the same after that. And going to Washington, it's not necessarily in the division, but it is in the same conference. I know Deebo Samuel is going to be motivated to have a revenge season. That's how he's made. He will want to show everybody that he still has it. That, oh, this is what you gave up. This is how I'm going to produce. So it'll be fun to see him with Jaden Daniels. They also have Terry McLaurin, and I think that also makes it perfect for him. He doesn't have to be wide receiver one. He doesn't have to run finesse routes. He can be the power guy who confuses defenses, who is a support for Jaden Daniels. And I think he's going to have an uptick in production for sure in Washington. I think it's going to be a interesting scenario to watch. The 49ers now, though, really need to bring a veteran wide receiver into the room. Looking at the free agent list, Stephon Diggs coming off an ACL. T. Higgins is going to be too expensive. Maybe Keenan Allen is a guy who's kind of at the end of his career. I know he made a lot of money with the Bears, but he might be wanting to be with a contender. Maybe he's a guy that can come in. He's a veteran presence. He's smart. He knows how to lead. He could be a guy. Definitely not DeAndre Hopkins. I just don't think that happens. Outside of that, Amari Cooper, I don't think so. Chris Godwin, I don't know how many of these guys would be willing to take a 1 year deal. Um, it's Mike Williams, Robert Woods, Marquise Brown, Darius Slayton, a guy who maybe could add a little bit. Juju Smith-Schuster is kind of a guy who could bring something to the room. Chris Conley is also a guy who's a free agent. He's been with the Niners for a while. Trent Sherfield is a familiar name as well. Um, Nelson Aguilar is out there. Marquise Brown, he's a guy. I don't know. The 49ers do need to bring in a guy during free agency. Um, the trade won't be official until March 12th when the league year begins, and that's when 49ers can make their own moves. So for now, it is 8 o'clock. I've got to go get out on my flight. I'm in Detroit right now and heading back to California. But just dropping this news that Deebo Samuel has um, not officially, but in principle, been traded to the Washington Commanders for a fifth round pick. So always wishing the best of luck to a guy like Deebo Samuel, who had kind of a tumultuous career, but man, did he define what the 49ers have done in the past 6 years since he was drafted. Um, Obviously was not completely happy. Kind of tension boiled over when he kind of went after Jake Moody after he missed 3 kicks, went on social media and said, "Hey, I'm just not getting the ball." So there were some things, kind of little hints that, he was not completely happy with the 49ers, asked to be traded at the season end. And so here is where he is headed to the Washington Commanders, and it'll be fun to see how he gets along out there. I think he's going to be incredibly successful because it's the perfect situation for him. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I will talk to you soon. Another video coming to you uh, for sure tomorrow. Bye.